So again, we've now reached the final chord progression of our set of common chord progressions. That's the 6-2-5-1 in minor keys in 7th chords. Here's a quick reminder of the 2-5-1 progression from our previous video, and that is 2, minor 7 flat 5, 5, 7, which we are substituting for the 5 minor 7 chord, and 1 minor 7. So now let's take a look at the 6th chord, remembering that the 6th chord in a minor key is the same as the 4 chord in the relative major key, so we'll be expecting to find a major 7th chord on this note. So we can verify that in the usual way. Here's our natural minor scale. We go up to note 6 and take notes 6, 8, 10 and 12, remembering that notes 8, 10 and 12 are the same as notes 1, 3 and 5, and this gives us intervals of a major third, followed by a minor third, followed by another major third. Intervals from the root of the chord are then a major third, a perfect fifth, and a major 7th. And there's our major 7th chord. In the key of A minor, this would be the note F, A, B, C, D, E, F. And here's our F major 7 chord in the familiar open position in the 2nd inversion. Our complete chord progression now consists of 6, major 7, 2, minor 7 flat 5, 5, 7, and 1 minor 7. In our example key of A minor, this means F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5, E7 and A minor 7. We've now completed all of our chord progressions. That's the 1-4-5, 2-5-1 and 6-2-5-1 in both major and minor keys, in triads and 7th chords. We'll have a lot more to say about these progressions in the rest of the series, but we now know all the chord types for these 3 common chord progressions. In the process, we've learnt both a triad chord form and a 7th chord form, that's a 3-note chord and a 4-note chord, to harmonise each note of the complete major scale and also of the natural minor scale. So before moving on, we'll have a quick review of the complete harmonised scale in 7th chords. So for the major scale, which I'll play here in our example key of C major, we have the chords 1, major 7, which features in all of our chord progressions, 2, minor 7, which we found in the 2-5-1 and 6-2-5-1 progressions, then 3, minor 7. This doesn't appear in our major key chord progressions, but remember this corresponds to the 5 chord in the relative minor key. Then 4, major 7, which appears in our 1-4-5 progression. 5, 7, that's the dominant 7th form, which again appears in all of our chord progressions. 6, minor 7, which we found in the 6-2-5-1 progression. And finally 7, minor 7 flat 5. This is the equivalent of the 2 chord in the relative minor key. So altogether, 1 major 7, 2 minor 7, 3 minor 7, 4 major 7, 5 7, 6 minor 7, 7 minor 7 flat 5, which brings us back to the 1 chord. The equivalent sequence in the minor key gives us 1 minor 7. This is the 6th chord of the relative major key, and here it is in the key of A minor. 2 minor 7 flat 5, 3 major 7, again remembering this is the 1 chord of the corresponding major key, 4 minor 7, 5, minor 7 or 7. Again, I'll remind you that we normally substitute the dominant 7th form for the minor 7 in minor keys, particularly if it's forming part of a perfect cadence. And then 6, major 7, as we've just learnt. 7, another dominant 7th form, because this corresponds to the 5 chord in the relative major key, and back to 1. So the complete sequence is 1 minor 7, 2 minor 7 flat 5, 3 major 7, 4 minor 7, 5 7, 6 major 7, 7 7, which brings us back to the 1 minor 7. In the upcoming set of videos in this series, we're going to start relating melody to harmony, that is, looking at arpeggios, scales and modes in the context of these chord progressions. In preparation for this, I'm going to take some time out in the next couple of videos to look at rudiments, that's to say the basic physical movements which combine to form the rhythmic and melodic elements of music. We'll be beginning in the next video with the right hand, looking at strumming and picking. I apologise to any fingerstyle players watching, there won't be a lot in this to interest you. I'm sure there are other video tutorials out there online which will cover the equivalent concepts for finger picking. We're just going to deal with flat pick, strumming and picking. Hope your fingerstyle players will rejoin us after this for the next session when we move on to left hand rudiments. So that's all for now. Please join me again soon.